Hey everyone, we're back. It's the Aaron Bates Real Estate team, and we've got a special guest this week, Michele from Heller Tax Consultants. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Happy to be with you guys. I'm great. Thank you.
So today we're going to cover kind of a hot topic, especially in Nassau County, and we're going to go all about tax grievance. So let's just go right into it and start with the basics, like what is a tax grievance?
Okay, yeah, happy to talk with you guys about that. I know a lot of people don't know what tax grievance is, how it works. So basically, if you own a property, a residential property, a commercial property, you can and probably should file a property tax grievance. It's a simple process. Most people think they need their tax bill, they need their section, block, and lot. You don't. Literally, with just your property address, we can qualify a property within just a couple of minutes, let you know if you would qualify for a reduction. Most cases, we can give you an estimate on how much we could save you every year. It's one of those things where it's a win for everyone. It doesn't actually cost anything unless you actually save money. So everyone should really look into filing a property tax grievance and see if they would qualify.
So let's explain to everybody why it doesn't actually cost them anything, really.
Okay, so when you submit a property tax grievance application, there's, for our company at least, speaking for us, there's no application fee. We take your information, we'll look at your property, we can do some comparative analysis, see where you're currently being assessed. Typically it's not where people think they're being assessed. The information that's available on public records usually is not up to date. So usually people are assessed a lot higher than they think they are. So we'll build a case, we'll see if you qualify for a reduction. Most of the time, and this is important for homeowners to know, you will get a denial letter. Depending on which county you're in, some counties have, higher rates of denials, but there is a further process, an appeal process, which is where 90% of the tax grievance cases are won in an appeal process. So once you receive that denial letter, you do need to this is why hiring a professional tax grievance company really makes a big difference, because we'll know whether or not you actually do have a case, whether we can argue for you, and we'll then appeal the case, and it will go through an appeal process through the court system.
Michele, why do you think that people are not grieving their taxes? Like, you've been able to grieve your taxes always. It's not a new thing.
Right.
But it just seems like it's been hot in the last 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Why do you think that people are not?
Well, I think a lot of people are afraid, and it is a very common misconception that they have. People are afraid that if they file a grievance, their taxes could go up. And so they just say, I'll leave well enough alone. And it's actually against the law. It's a New York State law. They cannot raise your taxes because you filed a grievance. So a lot of people don't grieve because they're afraid their taxes will go up.
Right.
Yeah. And another reason people won't grieve is if they have, this is something that is a mistake that people make. They might have had an improvement to their property. Maybe they got a permit and they converted a garage to a bedroom, let's say. And they never got a C of O because they didn't want their taxes to go up. And now they qualify for a reduction, but they're afraid the town will now find out that they never got a C of O for this conversion. What they don't realize is that typically within about 3 months of filing for a permit, your taxes have already gone up based on the improvement. So you're already being taxed on it. It's just a matter of getting a C of O. So they won't grieve because they think their taxes are what they already have. And that is also a time where people can discover they may have applied for a permit and maybe decided not to do the work, and now they're actually being taxed on an improvement that they don't have. So it's something it's worth looking into, and people can of course call me and I can let them know what the value or the increase would be based on that improvement and see if it's worth filing a grievance and getting a C of O. So that's another reason why people don't would hesitate to file.
What about if, let's say, a senior is getting a senior discount or a veteran's getting a veteran discount? Are they still eligible to file tax grievance?
Great question. Yes, they are. There are two completely different ways to save money. An exemption is one thing, and we are arguing an assessed value of the property. So people can and should do both of those things. They should qualify for whatever exemptions they can, STAR, Enhanced STAR, veterans, fire department, whatever that might be, and then file a grievance also. And one does not have any impact on the other.
Okay, great.
What about deadlines? Different deadlines for different counties, right?
Yes, different deadlines for different counties. Nassau County deadline is March 1st. So every year, March 1st is the deadline in Nassau County to file a grievance. I cannot tell you how many times someone will call me on March 2nd and say, Michelle, I forgot to send it in, even though they've had 10,000 reminders. And what can you do? I'll say, you can certainly apply, but it's not going to be for it'll be for next year. Yeah. So don't miss the deadlines. I tell everyone, just do it while you're thinking about it. You know, we work all year long. We work with real estate agents all year long. You guys are selling properties all year, so we're always available to help you. And our office is fully staffed year round. So March 1st for Nassau County, and Suffolk County is always the third Tuesday in May. So this year will be May 14th in Suffolk County.
Let's not wait to the last minute.
Do not wait till the last minute. Even though there's a flood of last minute people, that's okay. We'll help you.
But there are always those last minute people, for sure.
Don't miss those deadlines.
Okay, so what about, let's talk about people who own a home and are maybe going to sell in the next couple of years, maybe not. They don't know what they're going to do. Why is grieving your taxes important if you're ever in your whole life going to sell your home?
Yeah, it's very important if you're going to sell, because you might think your taxes are fairly low right now. Maybe you have exemptions that a future buyer may not qualify for. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen someone list their home, put it on the market, and it just sits there because the taxes are too high. They start reducing their price just to make up for the high tax bill. And you know, there's always a neighbor that's selling around the same time that did grieve their taxes, and that neighbor's house no doubt sells. It sells for more money, it sells faster. So if you're thinking about it, grieving your taxes is the best way to make sure that your tax bill is fair, that it's always fair.
Yeah, we've seen it many times. We've seen, especially like senior citizens or veterans,
Right.
their taxes might only be paying 11 or 12 in taxes, but the new buyer is going to be at 14 or 15.
Right, 16, yeah.
Well,
Because exemptions don't transfer to buyers, but the grievance does.
I mean, a good example, we just walked into a listing appointment in Plainview the other day, and their property taxes were significantly higher than the people around them. Actually,
it was
anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000. Actually, some of them
it
were
was even more.
Wow.
Their real tax is about 18. They were paying about 15 after exemptions, but some of the people on the block were at 11 and 12. So it was a huge difference, which is a big selling point. If you're a seller, and that's a huge difference for your potential buyers and their affordability.
It's also a big difference. A lot of people don't realize how much property taxes can impact the amount of money that you're approved for.
Right.
It could totally offset a potential buyer for any property.
Right, now they're qualifying for less money, so yeah, it's a big factor. A lot of people don't realize they might not have sometimes people will apply for a grievance and they'll be denied. And so they don't know that there's an appeal process, which there is, but maybe you even hired a grievance company to do it and you didn't win one year. Because of changes in the real estate market every year, you may qualify again in the following year. So it always pays to try to just see what you can do, and when you're trying to sell, it makes a huge difference. And especially when the neighbors' property taxes are lower, if those neighbors grieved when the market was lower, they've basically reduced their assessment indefinitely, and they'll always have a lower tax bill. And it does, when there's a property that's for sale with a low tax bill, the property actually becomes more valuable.
Right.
Because now it has a low tax bill, it becomes more, more attractive, and it's more valuable, and it sells faster, it sells for more money.
Well, I have another example. I had a client in Seaford. They were religiously grieving their taxes every year. I think they started at 18.5. By the time we sold their property, they now live in Florida. I think we're down to 13.3.
Wow. Yeah.
So if you just stay with it, and it doesn't cost you anything if you don't save any money.
Right.
So why would you
and
not?
then it's still not actually costing you anything. Because
you're still saving.
You're taking a portion of what you saved on your taxes, and you're using that to pay your fee.
Exactly.
Right.
What about average savings? What can people expect?
I would say an average savings is in the neighborhood of $2,500 a year. So $2,500.
Huge.
That's huge savings.
Well, think about that in a mortgage.
$200 a month.
Right. Our largest savings in Nassau County was $73,000 a year on a residential property, and in Suffolk County was $17,000 a year on a residential property. So there are some situations. I have plenty of properties that I'll get requests on, and they're saving $6,000, $7,000 a year. Those are very common, but on average, I'd say about $2,500. Even if it's $1,000 a year, and when you're working with a potential buyer, if you can save someone $1,000 a year on property taxes, that equates to more than $20,000 in a mortgage. So it allows them to have a little bit more buying power, like you're saying. So
that's a big difference. It's
Right,
a big difference.
It's
And we tell people all the time, your property taxes are a really big deal
Yes.
compared to your purchase price, you know.
That's a common question. Like we always ask, so, like, they'll come with a pre-approval.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we might not know the bank because all the banks that we work with, they talk about property taxes with them.
Okay.
So often we'll get one. You know, we'll meet a potential home buyer for the first time, and they have a pre-approval. So we say, all right, what's your approval? They say 500,000. Well, what are the property taxes on it? I don't know.
Right. And they don't
Well,
even
you
know.
you need to know.
Right.
What-
They're going to shop for a house that's $500,000, but if their property taxes are adding another $1,000 a month to their mortgage payment, you know, that's
Right.
going to make a
That's
difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
It
buying the
does.
house,
Right.
potentially.
You're
so.
not getting approved for that property. Right.
Exactly.
You know, another way that property tax grievance can help someone that's just purchased a home, let's say the property qualifies for a significant reduction. Say it's a few $1,000s a year. Maybe they can't get qualified on their mortgage based on the future property tax bill. However, if it is something significant, they may want to refinance down the road. Maybe they'll have a better debt to income ratio now. Maybe they'll get approved for a lower interest rate. So again, it could still help a buyer even in the future if we can reduce the property taxes.
Right.
Right. Investment properties. We've been told for a long time that you cannot grieve taxes on investment properties.
That is one of the biggest and most common misconceptions. You actually can grieve on investment properties if you have, if you're an investor and you want to flip a property. We grieve those taxes all the time. You as the investor can begin the grievance process, and if your intention is to flip the property, we will then transfer the application over to a buyer once they're in contract. Now it becomes the buyer's application, and the buyer will be a primary resident. So it allows us
selling
to
point.
provide you as the
Huge selling
investor
point.
a letter that states that the taxes are in the process of being professionally grieved, what we estimate the reduction will be. Then the agent can use that information to share with potential buyers, share it on MLS, and it definitely helps make the property more attractive to a buyer. The application's transferred to the buyer, they're a primary resident, it's easy. In the scenario where it's a buy and hold, let's say, and the investor wants to rent the property, we can absolutely still file a grievance on that. It would be a little bit of a different process, more like a commercial grievance application for income producing properties. But if it qualifies, it still will help the investor's ROI. They're going to reduce their property taxes. Takes a little bit longer. It's a maybe 3-year process, give or take, but it's retroactive from the time we file, and so they'd receive a refund of any overpayment. So it absolutely still pays to file as an investor, for sure.
Wow. It's like tax grievance is just like a home run in savings.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to do it because you're not going to lose any money. All in all, it's just
Yeah, it's
a
a
home
win
run.
situation for everyone involved.
So-
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the hot topic right
Hottest
now.
topic of the day.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Everybody's wondering what's going on in Nassau County.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
coming out, they're doing a
Yeah.
reassessment. Nobody knows. It's all
My
projections.
taxes are going up. My taxes are going,
going
down.
down.
Nobody knows what it's going to do. Why are there 2017 numbers on my tax information?
Yes, well, Nassau County homeowners all received tentative reassessment letters in the mail over the last few weeks, and they are misleading at best. Like you mentioned, Rebecca, they are based on 2017 tax rates, which, you know, are not what they're going to be for 2020-21. So that alone is misleading. The assessment ratios are not set in stone yet, so we don't know what those will be. The letters do look, a homeowner that didn't have all the knowledge about this process might assume that it looks like their taxes are going to come down. That is very, very likely not the case. It'll be the exact opposite of that. So it is there's a lot of uncertainty in Nassau County right now with the property tax assessment. We are telling everyone, urging them to file a property tax grievance. That will be the best way to ensure that their tax bill will be fair. We won't have all of the information until October 2020 to be able to
2020.
really say what the impacts will be. And October 2020 is far after the March 1st, 2019 deadline.
Right.
So a year and a half too late. So that's why we're telling everyone, get your grievances in.
Do it now.
It's now.
Now.
Now, they are, there's talk to remove the 6% cap. Currently, there's a 6% increase cap so that they cannot raise your taxes more than 6% a year. They are trying to get rid of that. There is also a bill that's supposedly being proposed, which was, I believe, mentioned in the letter, that they wanted to do a phase-in of the increase over 5 years.
Right.
As of a week or so ago, that bill hadn't even been presented to New York State yet, let alone be approved by the state. So there's no telling that that phase-in will actually happen either.
So the moral of the story is we don't know what's going to happen with reassessment for a long time, for a
Yes.
year or more at this point. But grieve your taxes. It's the only way to put you in the best position.
Yes.
Grieve them, grieve them, grieve them.
Whether you're a seller, a buyer, or an investor, you
Right.
should grieve your taxes. There's no reason not to. It's always been around. It's been more important these days than ever, with everything else increasing.
Yes.
Right.
Um,
And if you're thinking about selling your house next year, now is the time. You
Yes.
have until March 1st. Get that letter on file. Even if it's not applying to
In
you.
Nassau County.
In Nassau County. But in Suffolk County, it's in May. But if you're going to sell your house in the next year, now is the time to start doing that process, because
Yes.
that's going to be a selling point. Your buyer might not get all the same exemptions that you have, but the tax grievance is transferable.
And I'll tell you guys, another reason why tax grievance is starting to increase in popularity and people are paying more attention to their property tax bills is with the new law that's only allowing you to deduct $10,000 in property taxes. This is Long Island. Most people are paying more than $10,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
So where they didn't really pay much attention before because they could deduct it on their income taxes, can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
and they're going to feel it this
Yes.
next tax
They
season.
are.
They're going to feel it if
Yes.
they didn't feel it already.
So people that are paying more than $10,000 are now starting to say, maybe I need to take a closer look at this and see if I do qualify for a reduction.
Right. Okay, great. Well, Michele, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you
is
guys.
great information. I hope everybody really learns to go and grieve your taxes from this. We're going to put a link to Michele on our page that you can file tax grievance, get more information about taxes, all of that.
You want to give
Happy
some of
to
your contact information?
Yeah,
Everything.
sure. You guys you can text me on my cell. It's 516-361-0001. You can email me. It's Michele@HCGrieve. Michele with one L. That's the common problem. Michele with one L. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. You can call, text, email. Always available and happy to help.
Awesome. I'm
so
Aaron
much.
Bates, Rebecca Cohen, Aaron Bates Real Estate Team with Century 21 American Homes, and have a great day.
See ya.
Thanks.